Hello everyone, welcome to this lecture. So in this video, we are going to learn one of the most important service in the AWS called IAM. Okay, IAM. IAM full form is Identity and Access Management. Identity and Access Management. By the name itself, you can understand. So the service is used to identify the users and manage the access of the users to the AWS account. Okay, so as we are learning, instead of physical data centers, companies or the organizations now using cloud. And in that, we are learning AWS cloud. Okay, so that's fine. As a owner of the company, owner of the account, as they decided to go with the AWS cloud instead of physical data center for their IT resource requirement. When I say IT resources, maybe for the web application, for the projects, they required databases, they required servers, they required storage devices, right? If they are working on analytics projects, they require machine learning services, they require data science services, right? For all that, they are now decided to go with the AWS cloud, let's say. Okay, so as a company owner, maybe they can subscribe to the AWS account, they can create the account as they are the owner. But everything whatever discussed just now, maybe the development, let's say there is a requirement of web application development. So maybe the development and the maintenance of that code and the database management and the storage management, everything owner cannot do that, right? Cannot do that, right? So for that purpose, he will recruit the people. He will recruit the people who is expertise in that domain or that technology. So when he is recruiting the people, and for his IT resources, he actually using the AWS cloud. So for that staff, for his employees, he should provide the access, right, for their activities. For the developer, he should provide the access to AWS account. For the machine learning engineers, he should provide the access to AWS account based on the requirement, right? So to provide the access to the users, to multiple or different users to the AWS account, we have a one service called IAM in the AWS. Using that, we will provide the access and we will manage the access to that users. Okay, we will see how we can do that in the practical. Okay, and next you can observe here using IAM what exactly we are going to do. Okay, so first thing is who. Who means exactly who all the users, who is the user can access the AWS account. You will decide that first. Okay, who is the accessor, who is the user should access the AWS account. Okay, that you will decide first. After that, what he can access, what he can access, right? Can access means what all the actions he can perform. Let's say, as I mentioned, there is a developer, he need a server. You are going to provide him the server access. That is fine. On top of that server, what all the actions he can perform. When I say actions, when you providing the access to the server, let's say he can create the server, he can restart the server, he can update the server, he can delete the server. So these kind of actions, different actions are there, right? So based on the requirement, based on his role in the team, based on his expertise, you will decide on the activity. So it does not mean that you are providing the server access to your developer. It does not mean that you are giving full access to that server. So based on the requirement, you should, I mean, you will fine grain the access. When I say fine grain the access, either you may allow him to only create the server, that's it, and he can use that. And he may not be able to delete the server. So in that way, we can actually manage the access. If he is a senior, he is more expertise, then you can give the full access to the server. In that way, you will manage. After that, what? When I say what all the resources he can access. So it does not mean that as you are giving access to AWS account, he can do anything in AWS account. Again, you can manage that as well using the IAM service. So what all the resources he can access? He can access only servers. He can access servers plus databases. He can access servers, databases plus storage service, like that. So what are the resources required for his role? Only those services, those resources we will provide to him. Okay, that is also we can do using IAM. So let us understand this in a, I mean, some kind of demonstration. Okay, some kind of demonstration. Let's say here, this is, sorry. Okay, so this is one college. Okay, this is one college. Let's say, for example, I mean, if you are a student, treat this as your college. Okay, treat this as your college. Okay, so in this college, you all are, I mean, students or the professors or the lecturers, everyone who is going to come to the college regularly, they are going to get the identity cards, right? So what do you, why that identity card is required? to prove your identity, to verify the identity. So if you have the identity card, then only you will enter to allow into the college, right? Then only you will enter in, you will allowed to enter into the college. Let's say here is one student. So if he has the identity card, if he has the identity card, then only he is allowed to enter into the college. Then only he is allowed to enter into the college. In the same way, using the IAM, if in the IAM in the AWS, we will create the IAM user, IAM user to provide him the access to AWS account. That's it. So here also using ID card, this person will enter into the college. After entering into the college, where exactly he can go? It does not mean that everyone can enter into all the rooms, right? Somewhere there is a restriction. Maybe students cannot go to the office rooms or administrator rooms or admin rooms, something like that. Students can only enter into their classrooms. And again, maybe the all the staffs cannot enter into principal room, something like that, or there is some network room will be there. So only network IT people or IT staff in your college who are taking care of the IT resources or the networking, something like that, they can only enter into the network room, right? So it means based on the role, based on the role based on the role only they will enter into the specific rooms, right? Based on the role. So students can enter into the classrooms, right? Students can enter into the classroom. Let's say these are the classrooms. Students can enter only into the classrooms, right? And again, let's say here we have one server room. Only IT persons can enter into this server rooms, right? Only IT persons can enter into this server room. And again, if we have the principal room, okay, so let's say in the college definitely there is a principal room, right? Let's say here we are going to have principal room, okay, principal room. So not all the members are entered into this principal room directly, right? Only maybe the staff. When I say staff, lecturers or madams, teachers, so everyone. So lecturers can be allowed to enter into the principal rooms. Because so in this way, it does not mean that whoever allowed into the college can enter into all the rooms, right? In the same way, in the AWS account also, it does not mean that AWS, I mean, whenever you are providing the AWS access, it does not mean that he can do anything in the AWS account. He can access every service in the AWS. It does not mean that. So based on the requirement, you will provide the he will provide the permission to him. So it's actually classified as two things. One is authentication, one is authorization. Okay, one is authentication. Authentication nothing but here if you see, he is a person, maybe student or professor, whoever it is. He is a person entering into the college using the identity card. Using the identity card, it means here he is authenticated. He is authenticated, right? He is authenticated. So here authentication has done. Here authentication has done. Okay, authentication means only proof, means by proving his identity he can enter the college. After that, authorization, somewhere you can see that I mean on some of the network rooms or storage rooms, entry for only authorized persons, entry for only authorized people, like that. Somewhere you saw the boards, right? So it means after entering into the college, whoever authorized to which rooms, only those person can enter into those rooms. For example, it's a server room, only authorized people, only authorized people, right? Only authorized persons can enter into this server room, right? In the same way, in the AWS also, first thing, using, if you are IAM user, you are authenticated. You are authenticated to enter into the AWS account. But after that, what, to which services you are authorized? Okay, you are authorized to access which services? Only those resources you can access. That's it. Okay, so let us see that practically how we can do that. Okay, so in the same way we can actually illustrate or demonstrate this in the cloud also. Okay, let's say this is the AWS cloud. This is the AWS cloud. Okay, here we have two users. Let's say he is a developer. Okay, and here we are going to have one machine learning engineer. Okay, let's say he is a dev guy. Okay, he's a dev guy. And again here we are going to have one ML engineer. Here we are going to have one ML engineer, right? So we are going to provide access to both the guys using service called IAM. Okay, using IAM, what we will do, we will provide the access to both of these guys, right? So it means both can be authenticated, both are authenticated to enter into the AWS account. But based on the requirement, maybe developer required the server, developer required the server access. Developer requirement is to access the server, create the server to store his code. Develop what he will do as a developer, he will build or he will write the code for the applications, right? So to store that code, to build that code, to deploy or to test that code, he need a server. So that's why we should give him a server access only. That's it. And after that, as a machine learning engineer, maybe he required, I mean, machine learning, what he will do, maybe he will analyze some data, he will store some data to train his model, right? To train his model, to deploy his model, develop his model. So to store the data, he may require some storage device. He may require some storage. So we will give only storage service permission to this ML engineer in the AWS. Okay, that we can actually do. So here in the IAM, we are going to have uh, three concepts. First of all, okay. So first one is IAM user. First one is IAM user. Okay, first one is IAM user. So using this, we will create the IAM user. It means we will provide the identity card to him simply. Okay, he can authenticate. So if he is a IAM user, he can log into the AWS account as a first step. Next, we have IAM policy. IAM policy. IAM policy is a feature which contains the permission sets, which contains the permission, which contains the permissions. So as I mentioned, so once we give the access to him, we should also tell that we should also authorize him to access the services, specific services, right? So as I mentioned here, developers should require server access and ML engineer should get only storage access. So that we are going to achieve using the service called feature called IAM policy in the IAM service. Okay, so using IAM policy, we can define what all the permissions user required. Okay, based on the requirement, we can define the permissions in the IAM policy. So IAM policies will be in the JSON format, JSON language format. Okay, it is a set of permissions. We will see how to write the policy, how the policy look like. After that, there is one more concept, IAM group. IAM group. So for now, just remember this group as something like, let's say, when I say real organization, real-time project or organization, I mean, in the development team or in the ML engineering team, there should not be only one people, right? Maybe there multiple people will be there in the real time, right? So only one developer cannot do all the development, right? And only one ML engineer cannot do all the machine learning models and everything, right? So there will be multiple people. Multiple people are there, but all the developers are required the same access, right? Because they are working for the same project, they are working for the same requirement. So they require the same kind of access. So it means if there are 5 developers, let's say, okay, if there are 5 developers, so we need to create 5 IAM users. That is fine. We will create IAM users, five IAM users, dev 1, dev 2, something like developer 1, developer 2, something like that. But after that, using IAM policy, we should provide them the server access. So when we are creating 5 different IAM users, 5 different developer users, so for everyone, we should separately provide the IAM policy. I mean, provide the permissions to the servers, right? So instead of that, what we can do, we can create one IAM group called developer group, something like that, to remember it. And what we will do, instead of assigning the permissions on top of this user, what we can do, we can assign the permissions at the group level, and we will add all these 5 developers to that group. Simply, we will see all this concept practically. Okay, for now, let us create IAM user, developer user, ML engineer, and based on the requirement, developer, we are going to give the server access. It means EC2 in the AWS. Okay, EC2 is the virtual server concept in the AWS. Okay, and next we are going to give storage service permission to the ML engineer. Okay, let us see that practically. So I am inside my AWS account already. Okay, I am inside my AWS account. I logged into the AWS account. Okay, from here, from the management console, let me go to IAM. So in the search box, I am entering IAM. So just selected IAM. Okay, just selected IAM. So you can see in AWS, we already know we have the regions, right? We have the regions in the management console explanation. We have seen that, right? And some of the services works at the global level. They are not specific to region. Okay, you can see here IAM service. When you selected IAM, here it is mentioned as global. You cannot select any of the region because it's a global service. It's a global service. In the backend, AWS will take care of the data center part. Okay, it's a global service. You cannot select any particular region. That's fine. So on the left side, you can see under access management in the IAM dashboard, there is something called users, right? Just click on it. So using this, you can create the IAM user for your team. So click on create user. So here we should provide the username. Okay, as I'm creating the access for my developer, so I'm creating it as developer one. Okay, then you can give any name, but there should not be space in the username. There should not be space. You can see here the username can have up to 64 valid characters like that. Okay, there should not be space. Okay, and again there is a one option called provide user access to the AWS management console. Provide user access to the AWS management console. What do you mean by it? So as I mentioned here, we are going to provide the access to AWS account. Means these users are going to access my AWS account. But to access the AWS account, we have two different ways. Two different ways. Okay. One is AWS management console. Using the console in the same way how just we are using now. So I have actually logged in using my username and password to the console, right? So this is the one way. And another way is that programmatic access. Another way is programmatic access. Okay. To access this AWS account, we can use programmatic access. So programmatic access is nothing but instead of login with a username and password into the console, instead of this visual user interface, we should interact with the AWS account using commands or the scripts. Using commands or the scripts. That is called programmatic access. But for now, as a learner, as a beginner, first we should start with console access. We should explore all the services. Once we are confident with the familiar with the AWS services, then we can learn programmatic access. Okay. So first of all, let us use management console. Just click on provide access. And moreover, the requirement, see, not all the users will use the programmatic access. Mostly we will use management console access only. But the requirement, let's say as a developer writing the code, okay, maybe from the application, he is deploying the website application in the AWS, right? So those website application also sometimes need to interact with some of the other services in the AWS account, right? Some of the services in the AWS account. So for that purpose, we will create the programmatic access, okay? Because instead of username and password, application can connect to other AWS services using that programmatic access, okay? That is the thing. So here after, okay, we should select this option then. Okay, we should select this console access option. After that, here we have two options, right? One is specify a user in identity center, and second one is I want to create an IAM user. So what do you mean by identity center? In the real time, organizations, what they will do, they will definitely have employer IDs and employee mail IDs, definitely, right? So instead of creating separate user ID password for this AWS accounts, what they will do, there is a one service called Identity Center. So what they will do, they will actually map their user, their employees employer ID or the employee mail ID, official mail ID to the Identity Center. So using the same mail ID, same user ID, they can log in or they can connect to the AWS account instead of having other credentials, other usernames. Okay. So but for now, as a learning purpose, we are going to, it's a single account. We are going to create the IAM user only. Just select I want to create an IAM user. After that, the password. Okay. As we are creating the console access, we should have username and password, how we logged in, right? So here you can select auto generate password, but for now I'm going with custom password. Means I can provide the password. So for the learning purpose, just give the common passwords instead of a complex password, because you may, there is a choice you may forget, right? So that's why I'm giving something like admin at @1234. Okay. After that, after that, here there is an option user must create a new password at next sign in recommended. It means if you enable this option, whenever the user sign in with the credentials you are providing, right? So immediately after he sign in, it will ask him to change the password. It will ask him to change the password. So for now, I'm not required that. So just that's why I'm just disabling it. Okay. Okay. I have given username and selected the console access, and then selected the I want to create an IAM user and given the custom password and disable this option of new, next sign in password change. So just click on next. So here, as I mentioned, first what we have to do. So first, who is the user? So now we done with the first step, right? So developer is the user, developer one is the user. For him, we are giving the access. And second, what resources and what are the permissions required here also, right? Developer is a user, that's it. And after that, he requires a server access, right? So that is in the second step here. You can see here. That is in the second step here, right? So for now, what I will do, I will not provide any permission to him. Okay. To provide the permission, we have three different options that we will discuss soon. But for now, I'm not giving any access to him, any permission to him. Just I am creating the user. Just click on next. So here you can see it's a review page. So once again, you will review whatever you're doing, everything, and you can confirm. So we are giving username as developer one, and we are providing him console password and custom password we have selected. And you can see the permission summary, nothing, no permissions we are giving to him. Okay. And when it comes to tags, right? So in the AWS, for every resource, you are going to see the tags option. Why the tags? So let's say, as I mentioned, I am giving the access to my developer, my company developer, right? So for which project he is working, how should I know? Let's say I'm creating this IAM user for developer one. Exactly for which project or which client he is working, exactly for which client or which project I need to create this user. I should know that. Let's say for today I am here, I'm creating, I know. Maybe after 1 month, after 1 year, I may forget or I may not be in the same company, right? So anyone comes here using these tags, they can have the information. They can have the information if you give the proper tags. So what I'm going to give, let's say for now, project. So let's say any example project or otherwise Amazon. So we are building the website for Amazon, let's say. So for Amazon client or Amazon project, I'm creating this service, this user. Okay, like that. So let's just click on create user. That's it. Now user got created. Okay. And whenever you are creating the user, you should download this file. Here you are able to see the option at download.csv file. Just click on this. So it will automatically download to your downloads in your file manager. It will download to your downloads. Okay. So here you can go and you can see in the downloads, there is a option. Sorry, here is a file, right? So in this file, you are going to get the credential details. Okay. This is a console sign in URL for that IAM user, whatever you created just now. And this is a username, this is a password. Okay. Okay, fine. Let us verify whether he is able to log in or not. Okay. You can see this is my root user. So I'm going to open private window to verify the access. So whatever the URL I received here, I'm copying that. I'm going to enter in the browser, same URL. Okay. So it is opened. The account number, it is taken from the URL, and then the username. Developer one we have given, right? Same username I am entering. Then the password. Okay. Take the same password from that file. So in real time, what you will do, you will create the IAM user and you will share this file with that user. So for the developer one I created, right? To developer one user, I will share this file. So he will log in with the credentials, whatever I given. Okay, just click on the sign in once after entering all the details. Okay, now he is able to log in. It means our task is completed successfully. Creating IAM user is completed successfully, right? So you can see here, successfully developer one is able to connect or access the AWS cloud. You can see on the right top corner, whenever you're logged in as an IAM user, it will show like that. I mean, the IAM user name at the rate the account ID. Okay. The difference between root user. If you see for the root user, only account name will come here. And for the IAM user, username at the rate account ID. Like this, it will come. Okay. That's fine. So now the developer one is successfully able to log in the AWS account. But if you remember, we created only user. We created only user, but we haven't given any permission to him, right? You can click on this user. You can select, you can see here permissions. We haven't given any permission. So it means he can just log in. He can just log into the account, but he cannot do anything. He cannot access anything as per our discussion, right? Let us verify that. So let's say there is a one service called S3. It is a storage service in the AWS that we will learn later. But for now, let's see whether he is able to access or create that service or not. So in the S3, we are going to have the, feature called buckets. Buckets are nothing but you can treat it as a storage device, hard disk or something like that. Okay. Just click on create bucket. Okay. Okay. Just I am giving the some name to that bucket. Some name I am giving and just I'm trying to create. Just click on create bucket. Whether he's able to create. Okay. There is some issue with the name. The bucket name should be unique actually. Okay. Okay, just click on create bucket. You can see here failed to create the bucket, and what it is saying, to create a bucket, S3 create bucket permission is required. It means he's now just created the IAM user VR, but we haven't given any permission to him, right? It means he's authenticated. He can authenticate, but he's not authorized to do anything in the AWS account, right? He's not authorized to do anything in this account, right? So for that, what we have to do, we should provide the permission to him. Okay, like this. Here we have created IAM user, but we should provide him permission also, right? So from our illustration, the first one, IAM user is done. IAM user concept is done. Next, IAM policy. Okay. So now we should assign him a IAM policy to provide him the permission. Let us go to IAM users. So this is a user, right? Developer one is a user which we created now. Just click on it, this user. So here under the permissions, presently there are no permissions. Go to add permissions. You can click on add permissions. Okay, you can click on add permissions, and here we have two options. One is add permissions, one is create inline policy. Okay, it is nothing but add permissions means if you want to use the existing permissions in the account. So whenever we created the AWS account, by default AWS will provide so many services to, I mean, based on the requirement to all the services. So many, sorry, so many policies will be there already. Okay, you can select from the existing policies. No, if you want to create the new policy right now itself, so you can click on create inline policy. If you click on create inline policy, it will redirect you to the policy generator page. You have to create your own policy. For now I'm going with the existing policy, so just click on add permissions. We can click on add permissions. Here the exactly the second step when we creating the IAM user came here now, right? So this is the step where we should add the permission to the IAM user. So to add the permissions to IAM user, we have three options. One is add user to group, one is copy permissions, one is attach policies directly. Add users to group is nothing but here we discussed, right? So IAM group, we haven't, I mean, we haven't went till that topic right now, right? So for now, let us leave that option. Leave that option. And second one is copy permission. So there are already multiple users or existing users in your IAM. Let's say existing users are there, right? So if you want to provide the same permissions to this new user, if you want to copy, if you want to provide the same permissions of the existing user, any of the user from that user to this new user, then you can copy the permission. Here you can select the copy permission, you can select any user. So the same permissions whatever this user is having, copy to the new user. Okay, and third option is attach policies directly. So instead of all of this, you want to attach the policies separately or directly to this user specifically. So just click on attach policies directly. You can select this, and from here you can see permission policy. We have almost 1,000 plus permission policies in the AWS by default. Okay, you can see here these are all the policies. Service side, for every service we will be having the policies. Okay, these are all the IAM policies. You can select the predefined policy whatever you want. And here of course one more thing, you can see type. So in the IAM policy types, we will have two types. One is AWS managed, one is customer managed. You can see here, one is AWS managed, one is customer managed. Okay, AWS managed means by default it will be available in all the AWS accounts. So AWS will itself already created and placed in your AWS account. So by the time you sign up with the AWS, you will get all these policies by default. And customer managed, based on the requirement, customer is created. So these are all maybe created by myself to for some other reason. So these are all related by, these are created by customers. These are all created by customers on the by the, I mean, based on the specific requirement. Okay, so for now let us go with the AWS managed only, and I am providing the permission to developer one user, right? Developer one user, and as per our discussion, what the permission he required, server permission, right? So in the AWS, in the AWS server is nothing but EC2, as we all know, right? So EC2, EC2 means simply virtual server. Okay, server in the cloud. So in the AWS, EC2 is a replacement of our physical servers. Okay, so here for now I am going to give him the full access, as I mentioned, right? So we can even decide on the actions what are all he can perform. So if you see, if you expand this service, as I mentioned, policy will be in the JSON format. You can see, right? So this is the JSON format. Policy will be in the JSON format. Okay, and in the policy statements, in the policy, in the JSON policy, you can see these are all the, these are all, you will see like version will be there. This is by default, you need to think about it. And every policy is going to have statement. Okay, what you will mention in the statement? First, you will mention the action statement. Action. So what exactly the action he should perform? So you are providing the access to EC2 service or EC2 resource. That is fine. So on top of that EC2, what are the actions he can perform? Whether he can able to create the server, he can reboot the server, he can update the server, he can delete the server. What you want him to do? So if you want to specifically restrict him to particular action, you can mention that here. Let's say here in the instead of star, you can mention like EC2 update, EC2 create, something like that. It will be there. And when you mention star, it means all actions. Okay. On top of EC2 service, this person, this user, this IAM user can do anything. That is the meaning of star. Okay. Next, effect. Effect will have only allow or deny. These two values. Allow or deny. It means you mentioned this action. You mentioned this action. So you want to allow or deny. Even for deny also, you can give the policy anamata. Okay. So here you can give either allow or deny. So for now we are allowing it him, right? So that's why I mentioned as allow. After that, resource. Even as I mentioned, you are giving the access to EC2 service or EC2 resource. And after that, inside the EC2 service, it means EC2 is nothing but servers. That's what we are discussing, right? So let's say in the company, in the organization, for your project, you will create multiple servers, right? Multiple servers, maybe 5, maybe 10, maybe 20. So this resource is nothing but you want to give him the access to all the servers or few servers or only one server. Here it is mentioned as star, means all the servers you are giving the access. If you want to give to access to only one server, you should mention that server ID or server name, something like that should be here instead of star. Okay, as given star here, it means to all the EC2 servers we are giving the access now. So that's it. In the same way, we have all the statement. So this is the JSON format of IAM policy. Okay, so for now I'm selecting EC2 full access policy, EC2 full access policy from the policies. Okay, I click on next. That's it. So what we have done, we selected the user, and in the permissions we selected attach policy directly, and we selected EC2 full access. We can review here. Username is this, and we are adding Amazon EC2 full access. Just click on add permissions. Add permissions. Okay, add permissions. So now you can see on the IAM dashboard from the users, and developer one is the user. Sorry, developer one is the user, right? And if you see in the permissions, he have the Amazon EC2 full access. It means now he can actually able to access the EC2 service. Okay, still now also he cannot be able to. So I am going to the developer one user again here. So still now also he cannot be able to create the S3 bucket because we haven't provided this permission, right? We provided only EC2 service permission. So let's search with EC2. Let's search with EC2. Search with EC2 in the search box. Just open it in the new tab. Just opening the new tab just to, I mean, just to make sure we should not disturb other page. Yeah, EC2 is opening now here. So you can see he now has the EC2 service access. How we are confirming? If you don't have the access, he even cannot see these options. These are all the options in the EC2 dashboard. You can see here we have the instances, right? Instance is nothing but server. Okay, instance is nothing but a server. So in the AWS, we call server as an instance. EC2 instance means server. Okay, that's it. So if you see, as a developer user, I'm able to see the servers what are all available here. What are all available here? Okay, what all are available here? So whenever, and this is another thing, guys, but I'm mentioning here, whenever you're not using the servers, right? Whenever you're not using the servers, just you can, I mean, stop the servers. You can select here, instance state, stop. This is not relevant to this topic, but I'm saying as even I forgot to stop this server maybe. So it will, I mean, it will unnecessarily, it will unnecessarily cut down your usage limits, right? So in the free tier, we are going to have the limit for every service usage, every resource usage, right? So you should properly utilize that usage. Okay, that's fine. So as a developer user, we provided the EC2 access to him. So that's the reason why he is able to see the EC2 instances or servers available in my account. Otherwise, he will not be able to see. Let's even confirm that. So here, what I will do now, I will delete this permission. So now I again came back to the root user. I'm removing this permission to him. Okay, I have removed the permission. Now you can see developer one don't have any permission. Okay, let's again go back to the developer one console. So now again I am inside the developer one console. Just refresh it. Just refresh it. Let's see what happens. See, you are not authorized. It is saying you are not authorized to perform this operation, right? So we cannot even see the service. We cannot see even see the servers also. Let's do one thing. Just click on dashboard here. Just click on dashboard. Okay, let's refresh. See, now for all you are getting API error because now you don't have any access. Again, EC2 access got removed from there, right? So that's why you don't have the he don't have the access now. Okay, let us again attach the same policy, EC2 full access policy to him. EC2 full access. Add permission, right? This is fine. Okay, and again, as per our discussion, illustration, demonstration, we have one more user, right? ML engineer, and he needs the storage access. Okay, let us create then one more user. One more physical user means one more IAM user. That's it. So from the IAM dashboard, again click on users, click on create user, give the username. So I am giving ML engineer 1, ML engineer 1. Okay, and again we should select this option because we want to provide him the console access. Then I want to create an IAM user, that's why second option. Then I want to provide the custom password. Okay, admin @1234. So to confirm the password, I'm clicking on show password. It will showcase here. After that, I don't want my user to change the password when he sign in. That's why I'm disabling, not selecting this options, last option. Okay, just click on next. And here itself, now I am giving the permission to him. So I'm selecting attach policies directly, attach policies directly. And what the service he required, storage service, right? Storage. So in the AWS cloud, under storage category, we have one service called S3, which is used to store the files. Okay, which is simply used to store the files. You can remember like that. Okay, this is the storage service. So I search with S3 in the permissions. Here you can see Amazon S3 full access. Okay, I'm selecting this Amazon S3 full access. Just click on next. Here this is a review page. So ML is one is a username, the custom password I'm giving, S3 full access permission I'm giving, tags. So we for which project he is, for the same project. He's a I mean, first we created for the developer, and now we are creating for the ML engineer, but he's for the same project. Okay, Amazon project. Let's say, for example, only I'm taking. Just click on create user. Just click on create user. Again, you should download this download.csv file and you should send it to that ML engineer for whom we are creating this user. You should send this file to that guy. Then only he can be able to log in using the details, right? So now I'm opening that file again the same way. So he's going to get these details. Okay, so now let us try to log in. Now let us try to log in again as a ML engineer 1. So what I will do, let me open any other browser. Yeah, Edge browser I'm opening. Okay, Microsoft Edge browser I'm opening. So what I will do, I will just try to log in as a ML engineer 1 user here. Yeah, username I need to enter. Username I am giving, and the password, as I know, I'm entering admin. Sorry, admin @1234. Right? Admin @1234. Just click on sign in. Yeah, now this ML engineer is also successfully able to log in. Right? You can see here at on the top right corner, ML engineer 1 @account number. So he is a ML engineer 1. So what is the permission we provide to him? S3 full access, right? You can see here from the root account. This is a root account. Just go to IAM users again. In the IAM users, he is the one, right? ML engineer 1. Just click on it. Click on this user. Under the permissions, you can able to see Amazon S3 full access has been added to him. So just go to that ML engineer 1. So I am inside the ML engineer 1 portal now, console now. Just search with S3. Search with S3 and select S3. So now we are on the S3 dashboard or S3 console. Okay. And strictly, as we know, AWS has a multiple regions. So we should make sure on which region we are creating the services before creating any of the resource or any of the service. As you have seen, IAM is a global service, right? So if you see in the root account, we are creating IAM. IAM is a global service. That's why we directly selected as global, and all are blank, we cannot select anything. But when you are creating S3 bucket, when this user is creating S3 bucket, he can have the option to select the regions. You can see here. So I want to create the bucket in North Virginia. Okay, even I also want you people to, I mean most of the learners to go with North Virginia region. Most of the learning purpose we will use that region only. Okay, so here, as he has a permission, let's verify he is able to create the bucket or not. So from here, let's click on create bucket after selecting the region. So here, just give the bucket name. So I'm giving test IAM user ML1. Whatever the name you want, you can give, but it should be unique across all the regions. That's it. So name I have given, and just click on create bucket. We'll see whether he's going to create or not. Yes, successfully created the bucket. It means our IAM user permission is working, right? So you can see here. Okay, the bucket got created. Test IAM user ML1 bucket got created. It means one storage drive got created here. Who created that? ML engineer one, because he have the S3 or storage access. Let's say now try to access EC2 service from this user, ML engineer one user. ML engineer one user. You can see for all he is going to get error now. See, API error, because he don't have the permission. He don't have the permission. Okay, because for ML engineer, what is the permission we have given? Only storage. Only to the S3 service we have given the permission. So that's why he can only deal with or interact with the S3 service. And for developer, we have given only EC2 service. Okay, we have given only EC2 service. So that's why he's able to see all the EC2 related options here. You can see. Okay. So now developer cannot create S3 bucket, ML engineer cannot create server. Okay, what are the permissions we have given to them, they can perform those actions. That's it. Okay, so now we are done with IAM user and IAM policy. Now let us see IAM group. Okay, now let us see IAM group. Let's say here I'm going to have uh, let's say he is one developer. Okay, so it means I have two people in the developer group, two people in the developer group, a developer team, development team. Okay, and again I'm going to have two people in the data science or machine learning team. Okay, I'm going to have two people in the data science or machine learning team. Let's say this is a ML team, machine learning team. Okay, ML team, machine learning team. So now what I have to do, so as completely how many members are there? Four members including both the teams, right? So we should create four IAM users for sure. We should create four IAM users to provide them AWS access, to provide these people and to provide these people to AWS access. What should we should do? We should create four IAM users, right? So what I will do, already we have developer one and ML engineer one, right? So I will use, I mean, both of them. I will use both of them. Already we have here, right? So from the users, so I'm inside the root user account, developer one, ML engineer one. So I will use the same users. Okay. So in addition, I should create one more user in the development team, one more user in the mission team. So first of all, what I will do, I will remove the permissions to these guys. Whatever we provide the permissions, right? IAM policies, I will remove those permissions. Let me do that. So for the developer one, I am removing the EC2 full access, and even for ML engineer one, I will remove the S3 full access. Remove policy. Now just you can, I mean, we are going to use the same IAM users for our second example also. So developer group. So here developer one, ML engineer one already have the IAM access. Just they have the IAM users, IAM user access. That's it. They don't have any permission. Let us create two more users. I'm going here. Okay, going to the users. I will create one more developer users. Let's say he's developer two. Developer 2. Okay, same, I want to provide the management console access. So selecting this, I want to create an IAM user, custom password, same password I am giving, admin 1234. Okay, and disabling this option because I don't want him to change the password. Next. And here I am not going to provide him any permission. I'm not going to provide him any permission. Just next. That's it. And here you can see we are creating only user developer 2. That's it. Click on create user. Okay, I'm not going to download the file because I am giving the we can remember this, right? Developer 2 and password. We all know admin at the rate 134. This is a common password. Okay, URL you can observe for everyone URL will be same because the account is same. Okay, account is same because so for that reason for every IAM user the URL will not change. Okay, right. So next again go to IAM users. Let us create one more ML engineer, right? ML engineer 2. So ML engineer 2. And again I want to provide him the management console access. I want to create IAM user. I am creating custom password. I am giving admin at the rate 1234. Okay, show password. Then I don't want him to change the password. Then next, I'm not selecting any permissions. Then next, yeah, create user. That's it. So now we have these users got created. 2 developers and 2 ML engineers are there. Now to manage the permissions to multiple people, here we have now, let's say for example I took 2. Let's say you have 20 developers or 10 developers. Here you have 5 ML engineers, 30 ML engineers. Okay, so in that place, in that scenario, you can use the concept called IAM group to manage the permissions to them. So now what I have to do generally, here I have to go to the users. I have to go to the users, right? And at every, I mean for each user I have to select him. I have to select him personally, right? So for individually I have to select him first, provide him, I mean I attach him the permissions. Then I have to select him, provide him the permissions. I have to select him, attach the policies. I have to select him, attach the policy. Instead of that, what I will do, I will create the user groups. You can see on the left side in the IAM dashboard under access management, user groups, IAM user groups. Just click on it. Okay, just click on it and create group. Click on create group. So you don't need to think about already existing groups or already existing users. These are part of practice or part of another workshops maybe I have created. You don't need to think about it. You may not see in your accounts this. Okay, just click on create group. So here same, we need to provide the group name. So first we should create the group for developers, right? So let's say I'm going to give the name as, let's say, dev team, something like that. Dev team. Okay, I have given like that. After that, if you want to, I mean if users are already present, in our case is already present, right? So you can directly select the users from here. You can directly select the users from here itself. Okay, so what I will do, I will select developer 1 only. Okay, I'm creating the dev team group, IAM group, and I'm selecting developer 1 for now. After that, if you want to create the permission, attach the policies directly, you can attach here itself while creating. Okay, and for the developers, what is the service or permission we are giving? Server access, right? So that's why just select, I mean from this permission list, search with EC2, because EC2 is nothing but a server in the AWS. Okay, so select this EC2 full access and create user group. That's it. So we have created the group. You can see here in the user groups, now we have dev team group. Just click on it, click on it. So now under this, you can see users. How many users are there? Only one user, developer one user. Now we have added here, right? And if you go to the permissions, now we haven't added the permission at the user level, right? Instead of that, what we have done, the permissions we have added at group level, IAM user group level. So it means here you can add multiple users to this group, to this dev team group. You can add multiple users. So all that users, if you have 10 developers here, 10 developers will get the permission of S3 full access, sorry, EC2 full access, because we have created the group and we are attaching the EC2 full access permission to that group, and we are adding all the developers to this group. In this way we will manage the access to multiple users in the AWS. So now what I will do, I will create one more user group. Let's say one more user group, one more user group. This time it's a ML team, machine learning team. Okay, and here also I am going to add, or otherwise what I will do, I will just create the group. So ML team is there, right? I'm not selecting any user, I'm not selecting any permission. Just click on create group, click on create group. Okay, so here now we have two groups, sorry, three groups, but this is the previous one, just forget about it. We have two groups, right? So just open both the groups in new tabs. Sorry. So this is a dev team group. You can see one user and I mean one developer is there. And for this group, what is the permission we have given? EC2 full access permission we have given, right? EC2 full access permission we have given. It means the developer one user will be able to access the EC2 service because he is added to the dev team IAM group and that group is having EC2 full access. Let us verify that. So we already logged into the developer one here, right? So I mean, we haven't created the new user, already existing user we have used. So developer one is there. So he is already having the access to EC2. So that's why he is able to see it. So no need to, I mean, verify it separately. That is fine. What I will do, what I will do, ML group is there now. So for ML group also we have created ML team, right? ML team. So for this I haven't added any user. I haven't added any user, and here they don't have any permission also. They don't have any permission also. Now what I will do, I will add user here. I will add first user here. So click on add users from here. Click on add users. Add users. List of from the list of users. Who are all the users you want to add? You can select that user. So I want to add ML engineer 1, ML engineer 2, right? ML engineer 1, ML engineer 2. So just click on add users. Add users. So now we have added ML engineers to the ML team. ML team, right? So here also we have used the previous user, one of the user, right? ML engineer 1. Instead of that, let us see for the best understanding, I will log in with the ML engineer 2. Just I'm logging from the ML engineer 1 to make you understand easily. I mean, or clearly. Just click on sign into the console. What I will do, I will log in with the ML engineer 2, which is a new user. So account ID is not going to change because it's the same one, right? So ML engineer 2. This is what we have given, right? IAM username. Yeah, ML engineer to username. That is fine. So again, the password is admin 1234 as we have given common password. We know that, right? Yeah, admin 1234. Just click on sign in. So ML engineer 2 is able to log into the AWS account. That is fine. That is fine. And he's already, we have already added him to the ML team, right? In the IAM user group. But you could see here for everything he's getting access denied. And let us go to EC2. We'll see EC2. From the ML engineer 2 user, I'm trying to access the EC2 service. Okay, let us see. So for everything, he is getting API error. Why? Okay, ML engineer will have the access to storage, right? So then let us verify storage also. S3 service storage means, right? So say S3. I'm searching with S3 in the search box. Just open it. We'll see. We'll try to create any of the bucket. I'm in the North Virginia only. Just click on create bucket. Click on create bucket. Just give any name. ML engineer 2 bucket. Okay. Just click on create bucket. See, it is failed. Failed to create bucket. Why? To create a bucket, S3 bucket is permission required. So we already added him to the ML team, right? So if you go to the root user, this is my root user. In the ML team, you can see I added both of them already. ML engineer 2 already added to the group, but still he is unable to create the bucket. Why? He should be able to, right? The reason is I have created the group. I have added the users to this group, but I haven't provided any permissions. I haven't provided any permissions, right? To top of the group. So let us do it now. So I mean, by going to the permissions, just click on add permission. Just how we added the permission to the user, in the same way, we will add the permission to, instead of user here, we will add the permission to group. That's it. Permissions, add permissions, click on attach policies. You can see here, we are attaching IAM policies. Okay, attach policies. So here, as a ML team required S3 access, storage access, I'm going to provide access to S3. So Amazon S3 full access. You can observe this policy. Just expand this by clicking on place mark. You can see here he's getting full access, right? So inside the statement effect is allow, action is S3 star means he can do anything on top of S3 service. After that, resource is star means all the S3 buckets, all the S3 devices he can access. That is what the meaning. So we are attaching, we have selected S3 full access, click on attach policies. So now it means the users or the ML engineers who are going to add into this ML team user group, IAM user group going to have the permission of S3 because we have added that policy on top of ML team IAM group, right? So now let us go to the same ML engineer 2 user. So now this is the ML engineer 2, right? So just when we are trying, it is failed before when we are not added the policy. Now we have added the policy, right? Now let's try again. Just click on create bucket one more time. We'll see. We haven't done anything. We added the permission there. Yes, successfully created bucket because we added the permission at the group level, ML team group level, ML team group level, and we added that user here, and we added the S3 full access permission here. So because of that, he is getting the permission of S3 buckets. Okay, you can see here ML engineer 2 bucket got created. So in this way, we will manage the access to multiple users. In this way, we will manage the access to multiple user. In the dev team also, we have only one user, right? You can add developer 2 also. Just click on add users, select developer 2, add user. That's it. So if you verify, I mean, if you want to verify, you can log into the developer 2. You can check, he will get the EC2 access because in the dev team two sorry in the dev team group we have added two users and we have added the permission of EC2 full access. So in this way we will manage the access to the multiple users. Now let's say one more example. Let's say here we are going to have one project coordinator. Okay, project coordinator. Let's say we have one project. For one project we have took two groups, right? Developers and ML engineers are required to recruit them, and to coordinate these two groups, to coordinate the project, I mean to maintain the project activities, right? See, developers will do their work, they will develop the code, and ML engineers will do their work, they will deploy the model, they will develop the model. And who should maintain the, or who should manage that project, who should interact with both the teams, who should coordinate them, right? Who should train them, who should track their activities, to track their activities, to track the progress of the project, someone should be there, right? So for that purpose I am recruited one more person. He is a project coordinator. Okay, project coordinator. Okay, in real time we will call these guys as PMOs. Okay, PMOs, project management officer. Okay, 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 PMOs we will call him as. So now as he is going to connect, he is going to access, I mean he is going to connect or interact with the two groups, right? So he need to see the activities or the task are doing by two groups. That means in the, when it comes to AWS account, he even wants to see what are the servers are going to created by developer group and what all the storage services are going to create by ML team. That means he need both the access, right? He need both the access. In that scenario what we can do, in that scenario what we can do, so in this way, like this, the has the project coordinator as a PMO, he need the access to, or he need to access both the services of these teams, right? So in this way what we can do, let us create one IAM user here. From my root you can't go to the IAM users, click on create user. So here I am creating user called PMO or project manager, project manager, and I want to provide him the management console access. I want to create IAM user. I want to provide the custom password. Okay, user creation is same, it will not change. User creation is same. Okay, same. So last option I don't required. Just click on next. Now what I will do, even while creating the user itself, you can, I mean in the next step, to add the permission, right? So by in the step of, in the process of adding the permissions, we have the option called add user to group. So here itself you can add him to the group. Here itself you can add him to the group. So what I will do, I will first add him to the dev team group. So here itself we can add him to the group. So now I'm adding him to the dev team group. Just click on next. So it means the developer team, whatever the access they are having, this project manager is going to get that access, right? So just even for him also I'm giving the tag for which project he is going to working. Okay, to understand. So now what I can understand, these are all the users are working for this project, these are all the users created for this project, like that. Just click on create user. Okay, create user. I'm not going to even download this because account number is not going to change, the username I know. So what I will do, let's try to log in this user. So I'm open the private window there. Okay, I'm going to take the URL from another user because URL is not going to change. It's only about the account number. That's it. Okay. Yes, I have entered here. So it is asking for the username. So username is project manager, project-manager. Okay. And the password, we all know it's a common password, admin@1234. I entered that and just click on sign in. Now you can see project manager is able to log in, project-manager at account number. So he is able to log in. So what we have done while creating, we have added him to the developer group, right? We have added him to the developer group. Is it or not? Just go to the users. You can see here we have the project manager. Click on him. Okay, in the permissions you can see we are able to see Amazon EC2 full access. How he is getting that? We added him to the developer group, and the developer group is having the EC2 full access. You can see here beside groups are there. If you click on groups, it is showing to dev group he is added. You can check from here also. This is a dev team IAM group, right? Okay, users. Just refresh it. Yeah, now you can see project manager got added here. So that's why he's able to get the EC2 full access permission. So based on that, let us go to EC2 and verify. EC2 and verify. So here you can see he's able to see all the details, right? So you can see Elastic IPS instances, everything he is going to able to see. He's not going to get any API error. You can see all the details he's able to see, right? All the details he's able to see because he's added to the development team. Now let's try to, because he's a project manager, he should interact with two teams as we discussed, and then he should even able to access both EC2, and as a ML engineer coordinator, he should able to even access the S3 also, right? Let us try to create the bucket storage service from the as a project manager. I am selecting North Virginia region because I want to work or create my storage service in that region. Okay, so here let us give any of the name. So project manager test, something like that, and 1 2 3. Okay, just all the way scroll down and click on create bucket. We'll see what happens. Oh, it's failed. He is unable to create the bucket. Why? Because we have added him to only dev team, and that dev team IAM group only having the permission to EC2 full access. Now, as per our discussion, he should have the permissions of both the teams. Now, what we can do? We can add him to ML team also. Just go to ML team here in the users, ML team IAM user groups. In the users, just click on add user. Click on add users. Okay, just refresh. You are able to see project manager, right? Select him, add user. So it means what you should understand now. We can we can add the user to multiple groups. We can add the user to multiple groups. Okay. So instead of creating one more user group for him, because his requirement is different, right? Developer required only server access, ML engineer required only storage access. But ML engineer required storage access. But this project coordinator require the access to both the services. So his requirement is different, but we don't need to create the separate group for him. Instead of that, we already have the one group for development group, one group for ML team. So we can create the one IAM user for this project coordinator, and we can add him to two groups simply. So he will get the access or permissions of that two groups. Okay, now you can verify he will be able to create the bucket. So just click on create bucket one more time. So first time it is failed, but now it should work. Yes, he is successfully able to create the bucket, right? You can see from here in the list also, project manager test 1 2 3 got created. So in this way, using IAM service, we will manage the access to the AWS account. We will manage the IAM user access. We will manage the access to the AWS account to multiple users, different users. Okay. IAM user, IAM policy, IAM group. These are the three concepts we have learned part of this session. IAM user to create the individual user. IAM policy is used to provide the permissions to the users, required permissions to the user. And IAM group is to manage the permissions of or access of multiple users as a group, as a team. Okay, so this is about the IAM service. Hope you enjoyed the session, hope you learned a lot. So please do practice to make yourself familiar with the AWS services. Okay, thanks for joining, and let's meet again in the next lecture.